You know, when I first got involved in helping to rescue the victims of human trafficking, I think sometimes you have this kind of heroic image of what it's going to be like when you see a traffic victim, but I've discovered that it's far more painful than I ever thought. I mean, you've got to understand that these girls are often raped, you know, 20, maybe 30 times every day over a sustained period for 7 years. It doesn't matter how they feel physically, what cycle they might be in. They are just used to the terror and the fear of being raped. So we work at the A21 campaign with law enforcement. We're so grateful to work with great people in great countries. And there's a lot that needs to be done in order to investigate, to find out whether a brothel is legal or illegal, whether the girls are being kept against their will. One of the great things we've done is instituted national phone lines in several of the countries that we work in, so that often a tip will come through the phone line. It's a 24-hour emergency phone line, and we have billboards everywhere. We have it all over the media, so that perhaps it works in one of two ways. Sometimes a client might end up feeling guilty and have asked a girl in a brothel if she has paperwork to be a legal prostitute, then finds out that she doesn't. Well, he doesn't want to be exposed, so he'll go and he'll make a call, one of these calls to one of our 1-800 numbers, and then say, look, at this brothel there's certain girls and they are being held against their will. Well, that's a tip-off. We then would give that into the hands of the law enforcement. They would organise in their own timing a raid, and then the girls are brought out. Now, that in one sense we think, wow, they're set free in that moment, but the truth is, for many of them, a whole nother level of terror and fear begins right at that point. They don't know whether they're being taken. They don't know if they're going to be sold into another brothel. They don't know if they're going to be moved into a different country. You've got to understand they have no idea, and they've been held against their will in fear and terror this whole time. So when they choose to come to an A21 transition facility, so they are offered a whole lot of choices. Some girls don't trust it and they would just prefer to get deported back to their countries. But the ones that then choose to come with fear and trepidation, often, they're often cowering, and you very often see them in a fetal position, just full of fear and full of terror. That's what drives human trafficking. It's actually terror and fear. And we have some fantastic, the real heroes, if there's such a word, for the A21 campaign are our house mums that are on the ground 24/7, literally just being that first phase of love for the girls. What they will do is, of course, immediately we begin to meet their immediate physical needs. Many of the girls have been traumatized. They need urgent medical care, and so we make sure that we get food, water. Many of them have been deprived in those things, so we take care of their physical needs. We instantly bring a social worker, a psychologist, a counsellor to begin post-trauma therapy with them. You must understand, so much trauma has gone on in their mind. And then we have a faithful prayer team that prays around the clock for them. What we have discovered is, you know, that those first couple of hours is just fear, but with incredible love and grace and a spirit of serving, you can begin to see the barriers slowly come down. Now, it might take, and it normally takes, a first full week before a girl might even sort of smile in your direction. You've got to understand, you are working with people that are just full of terror and fear. And I think sometimes we think we're just going to come in and all of a sudden all the defences are going to come down and they're going to be okay. Now, they're carrying so much physical and psychological wounding, as well as obvious spiritual wounding, that there is a process involved. And I think what we have to understand is we're not looking for quick results. You know, even you and I that haven't been trafficked, it takes time for Jesus to renew and restore us, and for us to continue to grow in our faith. Well, we have to understand these victims have been so traumatized that it takes time. It's not just like one prayer, you're done, let's move on. You have to be committed. And I think that's where you discover that it's a labour of love. You've got to daily begin to work with the victims to build trust. And I think love is what does it more than anything. Unconditional love, unconditional grace, unconditional mercy. And what we have seen time and time again, and now we're several hundred girls into this process, I think without exception, I have seen greater than anything is love and grace and mercy really can carry you very, very far. As long as we're doing all the other things that are a requirement as well, you can, with the love of God, love people to wholeness and freedom. And I've seen girls that have come in cowering in a fetal position, absolutely laugh. And I think of the scripture in Proverbs where it says she smiles at the future. I have seen that fear become just a laughter with a strength and confidence that says, yep, God's got a great future for me. And whatever has happened in my past, God has redeemed it, and that I can have a great future in and through a relationship with Jesus Christ. It works. The gospel of hope works.